What is up, chefs, foodies, and students? Welcome to Everybody Knows. I'm Anders. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get started. Quick note that the ingredient in this video is often talked about and used with alcoholic beverages, and so if you are a student or teacher that does not wish to use this content, do not use this video. Today we are talking about the ingredient of juniper, both the berries and the greens. This ingredient originally comes from all over the earth, but generally speaking more in the northern hemisphere. It's currently well known in cuisines from Northern Europe and indigenous North America, but if you're investigating origins and cultures, be sure to research the time period as well, since many foods are brought to cultures from elsewhere or evolve over time. Now, it's important to note that when it comes to juniper, there are some varieties that are perfectly fine to eat and some that are considered toxic. And so to know the difference is very important. Check out the description of this video to see at least one link to help be able to tell the difference. Unfortunately, the variety we have here today is not an edible variety, but we are still going to smell it, as the aroma should be similar from edible to non-edible varieties. And so when we look at juniper, we should see that all of the greens or needles of this plant are alive and well, unless they've been preserved in some way. They should be somewhat flexible. More of the edible varieties have the spiny form of leaf rather than the scaly form of leaf. So this one that you see here has more of a scaly shape to it rather than a spiny shape. And so even though they're spiny, they should still have some moisture to them. They should be a nice green color. And the cones, which a lot of people call berries, but they are in fact small cones, those should sort of have that blueberry-ish hue around them that is essentially a form of natural yeast, but then should be nice and firm, should be green, should be still alive, and just looking nice and plump. In terms of aroma, we're going to get a very strong sort of evergreen smell, almost maybe even like lemony. And diving into one of these cones, yeah, that flavor just becomes even stronger, that aroma. It's a very piney, very sort of like lemony, citrusy pine smell. Very strong. Let's have a quick look at the aroma wheel and see where juniper falls within it. So if we're looking at the aroma wheel, we see our category of woody is over here on the left. So we're gonna go into that category, and it's generally split into two. Woody splits into either living or burned. And so going into the living portion, we can see that we are in the coniferous, that is evergreen subcategory, and we see juniper is nestled right in there between pine and sandalwood. And so I think that's very appropriate. Cedar, pine, and juniper are all more or less closely related, and so those aromas would be similar to each other and are well described, I think, with woody, living, and coniferous. So again, it is quite strong. I think it lends itself well to sort of like thinking about Northern European cuisine, some of the North American indigenous cuisines. I feel like it goes sort of well with either like kind of getting into game meat or like hearty dishes that are either savory and this helps cut through it, or just to add a little bit of freshness to something that might otherwise be a little bit more dull or not as exciting. And so this aroma seems to be just sort of a nice bright addition to something that would otherwise be a bit more muted or maybe earthy or darker as a contrast to that. Let's take a quick look at the flavor Bible. Okay, it has, for juniper berries, recommends allspice, apples, beef, cabbage, caraway, chicken, duck, fennel, fish, game in all caps, game birds, gin, goose, kidneys, lamb, liver, onions, oregano, pate, pork, sauerkraut, Scandinavian cuisine, thyme, venison, and red wine. So we have a fair few pairings in there that sort of agree with what we've discussed thus far, but it's a good variety. And that about wraps it up. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about this ingredient as you cook or eat, as well as the words that we use to describe it. Have you used this ingredient successfully or in a way that you thought, man, that was really good? What was it? What did you make? Do you like this aroma? Why or why not? And do you agree or disagree with what I've shared with you today? Any of the answers to those questions, please put them in the comments. I would love to read them. I hope this video made sense and got you thinking about the aroma of juniper and juniper berries. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to help me get an ingredient to feature in one of these videos, please send me an email or a private message. If you'd like to join the food aroma nerdery, go ahead and subscribe and you'll see all my latest videos. And if you are interested in getting either a paper poster or a digital version of the aroma wheel that I have built, go ahead and take a look in the description for links. Thanks so much. Bye.